we get to I think we all have an idea at this point that it's going to be, we're going to break off into individual, heading into this. So we are told to change. We're asked to bring suits and the women to bring dresses before the thing starts. And I have no idea what that's for. I don't know if it's for the reunion. I don't know if we're taping it then. I don't know if there's going to be a dinner thing. Didn't know if it was going to be some, game or something, challenge. So we're changing. We walk in there, and once Jeff says that this is, what it is, I'm like, this fucking game isn't. There's no fucking rules anymore. This is just madness. The pink wedding. Before that, and I don't know if it was captured or not. I watched last night. I was jumping in and jumping out. But Dave came up to me and he was like, "Just so you know, like you're the target. Like I'm gonna try and get you out of this game." He's been,
I don't know if you'd say good about, but he's told everyone
absolutely
who he's voting for.
Yeah. Which is a good, in a way, a good strategy. He's like, you're just a threat. Like you're just dangerous and you're playing hard. So he's like, I'm going to try and get you out of the game.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, okay, now I'm, in some trouble. But I thought, well, I got my crew with me and we'll see how it goes. But once the pink wedding started, it was chaos and people just fucking lost their minds.
Well, now let me ask you this then. Mm-hmm. If you knew you were a target, why show Rhea the idol? Because I thought that was like...
Because I knew I was dead. I had to show some faith to them.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was like get everyone... Basically, so you knew she would gossip about it, and then maybe they wouldn't vote for it.
No, I mean, that was part, that did cross my mind, but it was more show some faith, because I knew my group at that point was shattered. They were all over the place. Try and buy some faith. Get through that vote. And then if I can get through the pink wedding, which I still might, at that point, try and find the numbers and take Rhea and Dave out.
Okay.
Just get there. Just lie to them. Be like, I'll do it. I'm with you guys all the way. And then see if I can assemble after the fucking Saving Private Ryan battle scene.
Right.
See if I can get 4 or 5 people and try and put something together. The thing that hurt us, and this is why, is we kept winning these challenges.
Right.
Like we couldn't trim any fat. So we're in that position last night. And look, one of us may wind up winning. I'm not saying I didn't win. I'm not saying I was not going to be eliminated. I'm not going to win, whatever. But it was chaos. And obviously, I mean, the big takeaway is, of course, Rico.
Painful.
But, I mean, it's like, I think people want me to be angrier at Rico than I am.
You seem to... What?
Now? Rico's been on the show.
Yes.
He talked about Saved by the Bell. But
even then, he answered hesitantly.
That was the longest bleep in television history last night.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, subsequently. Rico is an abused child.
Sure.
Dave and Dan have essentially taken turns emotionally raping Rico for the last 10. Rico is not a man. So it'd be getting mad at a newborn baby. I don't have any respect for him. I think he's a loser. I think he's a pussy. And I'll say whatever dirty shit, because this is a guy who, keep in mind, went after a coworker's wife at the company. So to me, everything's fair game with Terrence Mayrose, 126 Main Street, Staten Island, apartment 3. 3rd floor, take a left, and the kids' room's on the right.
That's trigger.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
That is, you forget that about Rico. I literally didn't.
128 Main Street, sir.
I didn't tag him in my tweet last night because I was like, maybe if I do that, he comes after my family or something. So I was like, I'll just let this sit. Maybe he sees it, maybe he doesn't.
I don't mean this in a bad way, but to you, he might.
Yeah.
To me, he won't, because he would maybe think of you as punching them.
Oh, no, I agree with that. That's literally, that's what I'm saying.
If you're Cons, or if you're, who's the guy through the Big T?
Big T.
If you're Big T, or if you're Jeff Nadeau, but if you're Kirk Minihane. Now, listen, he made a big play, I guess, in a way at me last night. But it's I have bigger issues than Rico, and those will come to light or they won't come to light if I win this game or if I don't win this game. But I just don't respect him. I just don't think he's a man. That's all. When I see him next week, I'm going to spit in his face. I will spit in his face.
I need a minute.
Yeah, well, I understand.
People thought you'd be madder at him, you said?
I mean, I think I saw some people geez, he's been on the show. There's been, I've been directed a lot more animus towards somebody else in the game and not at Rico.
Right.
So I don't, I was stunned in the moment for 2 reasons. One, I was just I can't believe I fucking trusted this Nimrod. To some extent, that's my fault. That's 1,000% on me. Number 2, I was just and maybe Rico wins, but at the time I was like, boy, this is a dumb game move right here.
I didn't understand.
Just a dumb, but he's And it comes back to what I've been saying from the start, and this is not a complaint. I went in with my eyes open knowing that this was an obstacle to trying to overcome if I was going to win this game. But the game is so skewed for Dave that when it gets to that point, and that's on Clemmer and Francis and those guys at that point. But the problem is I'm asking Francis and Mincy and fucking Clemmer to kill Dave. Last year, Jerry killed Dave early.
Yes.
And Dave was not with an alpha this year, leading up to that. Leading up to this, like he wasn't with me. He wasn't with Jerry. I'm trying to think of anybody else who would kill him.
I don't get this idea. Jerry still has a job, right? Like I don't get this idher of like, we can't vote for Dave.
Dave's not going to do
He's our
anything.
boss.
But these are children. Rico's a child. Moobs is a child. Like this is like what these are. You're dealing with people who were essentially like 100 years ago. If Rico and Moobs were in a relationship, their parents would say, you can't fuck because you're both retarded. And you would have like retarded, like, you know what I mean? It'd be one of those things where they would have to separate them. They would have to mutilate her privates and cut his dick off because they're retarded.
Potentially.
What's that?
Potentially.
Yeah. And Rico does his fake. He's pretending to blink and he's pretending to do this. He's pretending to do that. It's exhausting. He's a bad human being. But like, it's like he's a bad human being because he's been assaulted. Like he's a victim of assault for years and years by a couple of Bay Staters, but like that's it's just what it is, and then there's something to that. So we'll see. I mean, look, am I angry? No, of course. I'm not. I don't get angry anymore.
That's good. You've softened.
Yeah, I don't get mad anymore.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
that was clear. That was clear.
Thank you, Bish. Life is too short to get mad at stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I will also say this. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, Bish. I've seen some people say, geez, this is going to be tough if you get eliminated, if you don't win the $250,000. Let me make this very clear. I would be very happy to win the money. I would rather win and get nothing than finish second and get $250,000. I would pay $250,000 to
Sure.
Like when you're playing that game, maybe Rico, maybe Jerry play it differently. The money, when you're in that arena in the middle of that thing, never crosses your fucking mind. Not for a fucking second.
Yeah, it seems like when you're watching it, sometimes you're like, why are these guys taking it this seriously? Because you forget you guys are trapped in there for a week.
But it's also lunatics. Like I'm nuts. Like I'm competitively insane.
Right.
Like
when you and Whitney and these guys are going like, we'll never speak again. Right. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I was as mad as I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. Boy, this is going to be permanent stuff.
Who did I say that to?
Dan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I was very, very, I was stunned at that point. And it was hilarious because I FaceTimed Kate that morning. That was the morning I got the Idol. And I was showing her, I was like, and she's like, how much, if you win? I was like, Kate, I'll give you $25,000. And an hour and a half later, I'm sitting there like fucking waving this thing in the air. Like, yeah, take it. I gotta use. But it was a great, like the people who participated in the pig wedding, a bunch of us were texting each other last night. It was a great thing to be a part of because it was so, I think the tension came across in the episode.
Yeah.
It was, talk about it now, I'm tingling. It was fucking wild. Why? It was great. Great move by them. Great.
And they did a good job of editing because the whole time you guys are voting, they have you guys talking over the voting, which they don't do in any other episode.
Yeah.
But it was like actually like well edited where it built the tension.
Yeah. And you're just talking in public. Like you have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Things done. Go talk. And everyone's talking. And and the thing I keep forgetting is like I'm dealing with some stupid people. Like Rico's just dumb. So he's running around and the Taylor stuff and the Dan stuff and the Keeg stuff and the Rhea stuff, and it's just endless.
I have a few things I want clarified if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just as a viewer.
Keep in mind though, yes, I'll answer anything, but keep in mind, and they do a great job. They have to edit the show, of course, but you're seeing 0.1% of what's going on.
I think that's a lot of, that could answer a lot of my questions.
Yeah.
Because main question.
Go ahead.
I think Rhea is clearly the one orchestrating the whole, hey, Dan, they want to vote for you thing, right? It seems like they blame Keegs for ratting.
Well, I think
Rhea didn't tell them.
Well, I don't know why Keegs is sending that to Rhea if they're on different teams at that point. But yes, But what frustrated me was Dan. And I don't think did he ever pick up Dan coming up to me and saying that he was mad at me or no? I didn't watch the episode. That part.
In some respect, yeah.
Yes.
So what's that?
A little bit.
Yeah. So he came up to me. He's like, just so you know, he's like, I know you're trying to fuck me over. He's like,
Yeah.
I thought we were like really, really good friends. Like this is fucking bullshit. And I was like, fuck you. Like this is not what happened.
Was this before the first vote?
Yes. Before the
Taylor vote.
before the Luan vote.
Yes.
Yeah. It was before. It was before. I think we even started the pink wedding. I think we were like assembling.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So I was pissed at him right there, and I was like, I was in the fuck you mode with him, and then that built into it. The only person in the entire thing I was never mad at first, well, other than the people like Will and those guys, I was never mad at Dave because he was trying to play his game, and I was trying to play mine. But yeah, so. Yeah, I think for sure Rhea was pulling the strings on
But
that.
did Keegs so Keegs is obviously friends with Rhea, so they
Yeah.
have some relationship behind the scenes. But it seemed like Keegs told her, "No, we're trying to get Taylor. We're saying it's Dan," and Rhea presented it to them as they're
Right.
trying to get Dan,
Right.
essentially to get you out. Like it seems like Rhea was orchestrating all of that.
Probably, yeah. It's a good play. I mean, if I wind up getting out, it's a good play. Even if I don't, it's a good play. But yeah, yes, yeah. And then, and Dan's playing the game super hard, but it's kind of like he did this with Will. If you go back to the first episode, he's like, if I'll take this on a personal level if you vote me out. If you go back and watch first episode, he said that. So it's kind of like if you're going to play that game, okay, well then I'm going to play that game too.
Dan seems the only screen time Dan has. He seems suicidal.
Yeah.
he seems. Like,
So
these
sad.
are my friends,
So
and I don't know
sad.
what to do. And-
Well, but at the same time, he's like playing really hard.
oh, definitely.
So it's like, which is it? Like pick a lane. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to do that, then don't play hard.
Yeah, this was a funnier, a lighter moment, but he keeps saying every vote, he's like, what you got to do is split the vote. It seems like someone taught him that strategy, and he says it every time now. He's like, you got to split the vote.
Right. So it ends on that Rico twist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was just the first time this season I've yelled at my television. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing, Rico?
I remember sitting there, and obviously I was getting in his head in between, and I was just like, I'm like, why? Like, forgetting that it was like me, like I got fucked over, just like on a game level. Like, what the fuck? I mean, we'll see tonight. Obviously, people are gonna want. I'll say this: the next two episodes are, in their own way, just as wild.
Okay.
Just as wild. So, tune in. I mean, I don't know. Even anyone any questions, thoughts from it?
No, I think you answered it. I couldn't figure out the Keegs Rhea angle. Like, was Keegs trying to fuck you over, or was Rhea? Just
I don't think she
playing that
was. I
very
actually
well?
don't think she was.
Yeah.
I actually don't think she was. But she shouldn't have been communicating it.
Right.
You got to button that up. Like I didn't understand.
And also, like, I think they just need to get rid of all cell phones
I totally agree with
for
that.
everything. Like, you're playing
Yeah.
for $250,000. You can,
I agree.
text people some
If you,
other time.
if you want to do, I mean, look, I get Dave, and we all have important things.
You could have
we
like
can do.
Austin like be there.
And you can also have an hour or two when we're just not playing the game. Like you can't, if Dave has work things he has to do. I mean, he runs a company. Like he's, you have to do work things.
Well, then don't play the game.
No, but I would say while you're doing it, yeah, that's fair. But the game is inherently rigged. I mean, it just is. Like, and that's fine. Like he's the biggest guy at the company. He moves the needle. He gets people to watch. That's part of the deal. But he picks the players and he signs their checks.
I gotta say,
that is a rigged game.
I blame every player for that more than Dave.
Well, I mean, sure, but I would say at this point, what was I supposed to do? I haven't been on a team with him yet.
Oh, right. No, it's crazy. And even Dave will kind of make it seem like maybe he'll fire you or something, but he won't. Like,
No, there's no chance.
and I've fallen victim of that too. Like, I thought he would fire me, and evidently he wouldn't have. But like, those people have to know. Like, Rico knows he's not going to get fired if he beats him at surviving.
But he wants him to like him. That's the thing that's the part you're missing. It's that he wants a belly rub.
Right.
That's what Rico wants. So it's, but Rico's like I said, is not a man. Like I have to think it was medicine or somebody else impregnated his wife to have kids because I can't imagine he's able to do it. He's not a man.
Well, did
He
you
got so triggered when you called him stupid.
Yeah, well,
Like-
he is stupid, and all yeah. I mean, he's
Dumb,
stupid.
like everyone says.
He's a very dumb guy. He's also a bad guy. So that's what happens. We'll see how it plays out.
You
What's
had
that?
an ultimate line last night where it's, I'm going to tell your wife You're fucking someone at the company.
I may have heard that. Yeah, I'll say who it is right now. Meek Phil.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. They're very much in love.
I could see those two together. That actually seems kind of nice.
What's that?
You just call it up. Like Miss Mayro.
We had a good talk. Yeah, she likes Phil, so it wasn't a big deal. Well, no, obviously it's not true, but I was just throwing shit
Phil.
against the wall. But my thing was at that, I'm like, well, Rico went after somebody's wife on a burner account on Twitter. No rules with Rico. He's a scumbag. So if he's gonna be a scumbag, I'll be a scumbag too. So yeah.
Was the consent, if you're not a Mina fan, because I was trying to get in the mind of someone else watching this show, are people like, oh, well, that makes sense. Rico's loyal to Dave?
No, I think
because
Rico-
watching it, I was like humiliated.
I think
for him.
Rico took a pretty good beating
Okay,
last
because
night, no?
I wasn't sure.
Yes.
But
I
I
mean,
was
There's
like,
some people like Ryder and all that, which is funny.
Yeah.
But like guys like Hank. But I think overall it was more like, why?
I was like humiliated and like felt bad. I had a lot of emotions.
It was not. It was very emasculating.
Yeah, it
like
was
a man
tough.
should not do that. Like you want to, you've got your, but I didn't know. When I was texting with Taylor and Will, and I was like, guys, 10,000,000% on me. I was like, I thought Rico would be loyal for a while. Like I thought maybe at the end, like push comes to shove. I didn't think when there were, I thought maybe when there were 5 people left or 4 people left, but I didn't think he was going to pull that shit there. So that was on me because those guys, especially Taylor wanted Rico gone. And I was like, no. And early on, I wanted Kelly gone. He said no. So I think we both made, because Kelly was with Rhea. So I think we both made tactical errors. So, that's the game. So you have to kind of, because that's the other thing is when you're watching, people watching the game have seen Rico bouncing around with Dave and Dan the whole time. But when you're playing the game, you don't see that. I'm not in the room with those guys. So, yeah, tough.
But isn't Dan going to you like, hey, don't vote me out? I thought we were friends. Kind of
Yes.
like what you did to Rico?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. We'll see. I haven't yet. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's frustrating with Dan. I just think of all the lunches we had in Winchester over the years. And it's aggravating, but whatever. So more tonight. And then Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
tonight.
Jesus Christ.
It's amazing. that-
I've been dreading the pink wedding. I'm like, oh, I have to go back in time and do this.
Justin was very upset about that, by the way.
What's that?
He goes, actually a wedding.
Nobody got married. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kind of a Pink Whitney sort of tie-in.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, they're pretty successful. I don't know. The one thing that universally I got a claim for was the Milton suit.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, nice.
great.
C-store for men. I was very happy to have Milton's represented. With millions of people are going to watch that and say, "Geez, this guy looks good." Miltons.com, Social Plaza Braintree, Chestnut Square, Chestnut Hill, of course, the Burlington Mall. Get that suit and you get another one for free. That's what Miltons does for you. The Milton special. Go to Miltons.com, look around, get all your stuff for this cold, cold winter. We thank Miltons for outfitting me last night, and they'll be outfitting me again, I'm sure, in a couple of months in beautiful Laconia, New Hampshire. So we thank Miltons.
Not a bad game with the keys and the quarter and the coins and all that stuff.
Yeah, tension was
bad.
just so high
Right.
that I
For
wasn't
that
even-
moment, it felt like the right game.
Yeah. I was fun. No, I thought it was a great. Like everyone's mad at everybody, everyone's crazy, but that's exactly what you want. There was a great reality television hour. There's no, it affected relationships forever. Like that's what you want. Like that is. They're setting stuff up for you. You have to do that.
How much does Jeff D. Lowe know on a given day? Like, so when he walks in and he's like,
he knows
Rico, you seem bummed. He knows everything that's going on.
Yeah, I think he's kind of walking around, kind of getting the temperature.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
But he's not like actively.
No,
there's no like live shit that he's watching. Like he can't listen into people's conversations.
No, but I think he's kind of getting a sense in the. You can kind of tell. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but he's not like in the room with us while we're doing stuff.
Right, I didn't know to
Yeah.
what degree he knew. Like, because he says like, Rico, you seem bummed, even though you won the idol. I don't know
He
how
might
much
not-
he knows.
Yeah, it's with Rico, it's like he's got the sad face on,
Yeah, he did have a sad face.
which is his worst quality.
No,
of many.
but I'm saying it seemed like that's all he could tell.
Yeah.
The way he presented it, but I don't know how much he actually knows.
Yeah, is Mike Dukakis dead?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
Not being reported yet, anyways.
Yeah.
that's true.
That takes a little while.
That's
So
true.
is there a room somewhere where Jeff could watch what's happening, like everything that's being filmed live?
No, that's probably all post-edit.
because it's 5
Give me
million.
screen 3.
Yeah.
Enhance.
There's 5 million rooms. People are no. I just think he kind of gets. There are always people filming, and they probably talk to somebody who gives Jeff an idea, I guess. But yeah.
It was funny when you were going back and forth with Big Cat. They were like putting a mic on you and Rico.
Yeah.
Or something just to see like nonstop.
Oh yeah, all day. Yeah, it never stops. It never stops. Yeah, and I have no, like, I had to play that at that point. Like, I thought I was done.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm going home with that thing in my fucking pocket. And there's no way I'm giving it to somebody else. So
You each got 3 votes, right? Or did they stop counting?
I think so. Yeah, it was close, right? Yeah.
he's got-
So
It
I
would have
mean,
been at least a tie.
I thought I was out.
Yeah.
And I knew I was out going in before I did, like, Dave, if it meant Dave, it meant Rhea. If it meant Rhea, it meant, like, I knew I was dead. So I had to do something to try and stay alive, and I did.
Because you also didn't know who lost a vote.
Correct. That's the other thing. So keep an eye on that. That's the other part of that. So it's, yeah, there's just a lot going on. So, but that's the thing is when you play the game hard, like, you know, I'd rather have gone out last night the way I play, like actually trying to win, than be somebody who just sits on their bed and then finishes 5th or something. Like that's just me.
But
Yeah. Or you know, or Moobs or somebody. Maybe she wins. I don't know.
Damn.
But in
I was going to
fairness-
say Moobs might win just by people forgetting about it.
She might.
I was gonna
She
say,
very well might.
People forget to vote about it.
She might.
Like Biz is just kind of quietly staying under
Yeah.
the radar for the most part. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he took that very serious. When Dave comes up to him and tries to, he's like, I'd rather go down with the ship than do anything. It's like, is Winnie actually dead?
I'm like, I was like, you are playing a game. Like, don't you want to win? I don't. Yeah.
Are Biz and Will as gentlemanly as it comes? It seems like
They're great
completely
guys.
stayed out of it as chaos was happening
Well,
around.
I was surprised that Will was, because Will's a conniver. I mean, he won last year, and he'll be into it. I was surprised at how passive he was, but I think he was like, what the fuck is going on here? Because I think we're used to playing a game, having a challenge. If you win, great. And I kept winning. I think I've won before last night 7 of them and lost like 2 or something or 3. So I was just kind of used to winning and then sitting around. Just you know, if you lose, okay, we kind of knew who was out. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, you lost. You have 15 minutes and it's totally public.
right.
And you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? But it was good. It was great. It was great. And the rest of this week is going to be unbelievable. Capped off by a wild finish, I will say that.